All right, welcome to 2022. I got a request. Can you do a podcast why God causes some things to happen? Now, in 2022, I'm starting to think a little bit differently because I feel like last year I was in probably one of the toughest spots I've been in probably my whole life. And I felt like God came and rescued me out of there. So I felt like 2021 was my rescue year and 2022 is going to be my comeback year. So for my comeback year and getting this question, I started to think about it a lot. I actually had to pray about it a lot too, because deep down inside, I think a lot of it is the way that we think. A lot of it and a lot of stuff that goes on, and even our own pain is the way that we think. And sometimes we cause it because the way we think and the way we've conditioned ourselves to think and the way that we've trained ourselves to think and react. So a lot of what I started to think about is maybe we're asking the questions wrong. Maybe it's not about God causing something to happen, but why God's allowing something to happen in your life. Not causing it, but allowing it to happen. Because at the end of the day, yes, God can stop it. God can control it, but some things God does allow in our life. And we don't understand that, and all we really understand and feel is the pain. So sometimes it's really hard to understand. So not why God's causing it, but why God's allowing it. So it changes the way that we're thinking about things. And I want to touch on this, though, because it is a huge subject, because I feel like a lot of people are thinking that way. This is the way that a lot of people are thinking. This is the way that they process a lot of things. And God, why are you causing these things to happen? But one of the first things I really want to talk about and touch on is we have to look at why we allow some things in our life. Why we allow some things in our life. Why we open up some doors that God has shut. Why we want things or have things that are bad for us. And we want to change other arenas in our life and other areas in our life that maybe we're not so attached to. But there are those areas in our life that we are attached to that are not good for us, that are not healthy for us. And a lot of times we're leaving those doors open ourselves. So we can't leave a door open or keep opening a door that God has closed and keep blaming God. Why, God? Why are you doing this in my life? Because not everything is God's fault. Not everything is God's fault. We were talking about that a couple podcasts ago. I think we blame God a lot because He's the one who's there and He's the one who cares. God never promises world peace, lots of riches, prosperity, or for you to ever have a perfect life. I've never read that once in the Bible, in the book. There's promises, there's covenants, definitely. The Bible actually tells us the opposite of all that. It warns us about all the things that are going to be going on, all the things that we're going to have to deal with, all the pains, all the sorrows, everything that we're going to have to deal with. But it also tells us that it's going to be all right. Because He's given us His word. He's given us His covenant. He's given us His promise. And He's telling us it's only temporary. It's in this world. It's only temporary. How long do we live in this world? If we're lucky, maybe close to 100 years. The rest of our eternity is in heaven with God, hopefully. Hopefully. God never promised us world peace, lots of riches, for us to have a perfect life, but He actually warns us and tells us about the pains, the sorrows, the things that we will have to deal with in this world. The same things that He's dealt with, the same things He sent His Son down here to deal with and die for. God tells us about the evil of this world, and if we follow Him, they'll persecute us even more. That's what He's telling us. If we follow Him, the peace that we have, He's going to give us peace, but the world's going to want to persecute us more. See, the thing is, He's told us about the evil. He's told us about this world. He's told us about the pain. He's told us about the suffering, but He's also told us about His grace, His love, and how He wants us to live. See, the thing is, if we follow God or if we don't, if we believe in Jesus or if we don't believe in Jesus, either way, we're going to have pain and sorrow in this world. We're going to hurt in this world. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do. And sometimes there's going to be that pain, there's going to be that hurt, there's going to be that sorrow. We're all going to suffer it. And it doesn't matter if you're a believer or an unbeliever, it's still going to happen. I think one of our biggest misunderstanding is that God's causing something in your life. It's not that. Maybe he's fixing something in your life. Maybe he's fixing something that we broke. Maybe it just feels like God's causing something in our life, but the truth of the matter is he's fixing things in our life. Have you ever thought about that? Maybe he's fixing things in your life. You want to know who the second biggest liar outside of the enemy is? It's yourself. That's right. The second biggest liar outside of the enemy is yourself. Do you even understand the amount of lies that we tell ourselves on a daily basis, on a regular basis, even if they're small little lies? To even accepting the lies that other people have told us or that people are telling us. Then we have to create new ones to make the old ones feel better. Or to create new lies to make the old lies feel better. Or to fit our story of what we've already said, or told somebody, or lied to somebody. Or we are embarrassed because of something. Or because of our actions. Or what we want, our wants. Not necessarily our needs, but our wants, what we wanted. Do you even understand the amount of lies we tell ourselves on a regular basis? Even small ones, think about it. Regular basis, I bet an average person tells himself, or tells the world, or tells the people around them, around probably 100 lies. I don't know, there's no stats to back that up, or anything I've read, but I'm just telling you on a regular basis, if you really think about it and be honest with yourself, it's probably at least 100 different lies that you are telling yourself on a daily basis. One way or another. It doesn't matter if it's just one thought and you're telling yourself the same lie over and over and over and over 100 times a day, or if it's 100 different lies, or 100 different lies that you have to create and make just to cover up the other lies that you told somebody. Romans 8:28. And we know that God causes all things to work together for the good of those who love God, to those who are called according to his purpose. It doesn't say causing all things. It says we know that God causes all things to work together. Not causing all things, not causing your pains, not causing your sorrows, but taking all of those, putting them together and making them work for your good, for somebody else's good around you. Maybe it's growth that's coming out of it. Maybe it's some type of revolution coming out of it, some type of movement coming out of it, some type of breakthrough coming out of it. He could take that pain and turn it into something good. For those who love God and are called according to his purpose. Now it says causing all things to work together for good to those who love God. To those who are called according to his purpose. Honest question. I just want to get real for a minute. I want to be real. And some people aren't going to like this, but what if it's a test? What if it's a test? God tests me. Why would I have to go through that just to get tested by God? Why would God do this to test me? What if you need to know where your heart is? Does that sound really so outrageous? We get tested in school, right? We get tested in school. Why not life? Why can't we get tested in life? We don't think we get tested in life? How do we grow if we're not getting tested in life? Maybe you've mastered it so much it doesn't feel like a test to you. But for somebody else, maybe it is a test. Maybe it is a struggle. But what if this whole thing that you're going through, that you're saying God's causing, is a test? Maybe he didn't cause it, maybe he caused it. But what if it is a test? What if it is a test? We test at school, we test in life. Why not test in our faith? Because at the end of the day, our faith is the biggest thing that we can have. Faith is the thing that's either going to take us to heaven when we die or not. So why not test that? Because that is the most important thing. Not school, not life, but what happens afterwards. That's the biggest test. What if it's a test? What if it's a test that thing that happened to you, what if it's a test just to test your heart to see who you are, to see what you would do, to see if you still have that problem that you've always had? Or did you have that breakthrough that you need to get, that you need to have in that arena in your life? Did you receive that breakthrough? Because maybe that's what it's about. Maybe it's not a test to see where your heart is in that situation. Maybe it's a test to see if you can have that breakthrough in your life that you've been needing, that you've been wanting, that you've asked God for 1,000,000 times, right? Tests are hard for a lot of people. They're confusing. They push you to those limits to see what you're really made of. But what if it is a test? What if it is a test? We have tests in school. We have tests in life. Why not test our faith? Why not test our faith? That's the most important thing that we can stand on. What about it doesn't matter? What about it doesn't matter? It wasn't a test. What about it doesn't matter? At the end of the day, the enemy just wants to destroy you. At the end of the day, the enemy just wants to destroy you. End of story. That's it. That's it. Not a test, nothing else. The enemy wants to destroy you. That's his purpose. That's his plan. But God tells us how to protect ourselves and how to fight against the enemy. So you're going to sit around and let that attack happen and just keep letting them attack you and letting them attack you? You're going to actually step up and do something. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm telling you right here, God's telling us what to do. For our struggle is not against the flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of the dark world, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Woo! Come on, somebody. What else is God saying about it? Deuteronomy 1:42. And the Lord said to me, say to them, do not go up nor fight, for I am not among you. Otherwise you will be defeated before your enemies. God's saying right there, hey, if I'm not with you, don't go. We need to gear up, listen to what God's telling us, how to fight against the enemy. And then we need to make sure that we're with God and that God's with us if we're going to go battle. That's the most important thing. And say to them, do not go up nor fight, for I am not among you. Otherwise, you will be defeated before your enemy. Woo! Deuteronomy 20:1-9. When you go out to the battles against your enemies, see horses, chariots, people more numerous than you. Do not be afraid of them, for the Lord your God, who brought you out from the land of Egypt, is with you. When you are approaching the battle, the priest shall come near and speak to the people. He shall say to them, hear, O Israel, you are approaching the battle against your enemies today. Do not be afraid. Do not be faint-hearted, or panic, or tremble before them. For your Lord God is the one who goes with you to fight for you against your enemies, to save you. Man, that's good. That's really good. So God causes something to happen. Your pain, mistakes, so much. It's not God, it's us. It's not God, it's us. God's not making or causing something to happen. He may be allowing something to happen. Why would God allow us to go through this? That's a completely different question. God's not causing it, but why was he allowing us to go through this? But I think we ask God the wrong questions. Here's a question real quick, and I want you to ask yourself this, and I want you to say it out loud. I want you to repeat after me. Because this is the true question that we need to start asking ourselves. You guys ready for it? God, when I was in the fire, why did you come with me? Why did you come with me, God? When I was in the fire, when I was in the burn, when I was in the pain, why'd you come? Why'd you come with me? God, when I was in the storm, why'd you stand with me? God, when I was in the hardest time of my life last year, why'd you pick me up? God, when everybody else left me, why'd you stay? Why'd you stay, God? The questions are better stated for what really happened, saying them that way. Not the question of why, God, are you causing this, but God, why did you stay during the pain, during the storm? Why'd you stand with me? During the fire, why were you there? And I feel a lot of times that's the reason we blame God, because he is the one who was there. He is the one that cared. And nobody else cared. Because just like my kids, when they get mad, when they get upset and they start screaming, and they get mad, and even if I didn't do it, but I'm the one who's around and I'm the one who cares. One day Daniel was tired. He's on the phone with one of his friends. His friend said something that upset him. He got mad, he got upset. And yes, it was late, and yes, he's young, so sometimes he's a little bit emotional during these times. And he started to kind of get mad at me and kind of blame me for what had happened with his friend and tell me that nobody likes him, he has no friends. He started telling me this. A lot of it was, yeah, he was emotional, but what I realized at that point was he was blaming me because I was the one who was there, and I was the one who cared, and I was the one who loved them. And what he was really trying to do was just trying to tell me what happened and what went on. And he needed me to understand. He needed me to care. But what he didn't know is how to talk to me properly and tell me that, because he was still young. I was still young in my faith. I was still young with my relationship with God. I didn't understand it. That helped me understand, and that helped me realize why sometimes I am blaming God. God's not causing the things that happen to you, but he's the one who loves you. Even in the fire, even in the storm, even when you can't see him, he's working. Stop asking questions of little faith. Stop asking questions of little faith. Stop allowing things in your life. Stop opening the doors God has closed. Stop opening those doors that God has closed. Let them be closed. Stop thinking you have a better door that should be open or that can be open. There's no better door than the one God's opening. What if the door is just a test of faith? What if what's going on right now is a test of your faith? How do you think you would do?